I remember a few times when I had gotten in trouble early in the day and just had to go to bed early. I'm talking about real early, like 5 o'clock. I'm sitting in the bed. The sun is still out. You can hear kids playing outside. You can look outside and see the boys playing the football game, and I'm just sitting in there like, oh my goodness. Of course, the girl I like, she finally got a chance to come outside too. So everybody just sitting there having a good time, having a grand old time. And here I am in the bed, in trouble for nothing. As I used to always like to say, little girl, hey, where's Linda? Anybody seen Linda? Yeah, the boys, he got in trouble. He had to go in the house, and meanwhile, I'm just sitting in the bed, just seething with rage, and then you start to junk talk about your parents, I hate them. Oh, I hate them so much. I got to get them back for this. I had a whole skit lined up of, how I'll get my revenge. I decided, I would never speak to them again. That's how I get my big revenge. They can give me a whooping. I can get punishment. Even when I went to school, I wasn't going to say a thing. I was just sitting there. I'll show them I will never, ever speak again. I had it planned to where, I would take so long before I spoke again that the news would get wind of it and ask me to hold a press conference in front of the whole world. And I could just see myself right up there on the podium, just waiting to tell the whole world my whole story. Then all of a sudden, down the aisle, here come my parents just crying. Oh, please, please, please. We'll never do it again. We'll never put you on punishment again. Please just say something, Linda. Just say something to us. And finally, I would speak and I would say, I'll do it this time. But if you ever put me on punishment again, it's gonna be worse. And then the whole crowd just goes wild. My parents are happy and crying and just glad I finally spoke to them again. So the next morning when I went to put my plan into effect, obviously it didn't go as planned, because the first thing my dad said was good morning, and I said good morning back. But you know what, that spoiled it. So the next time I get on punishment, I'll use it. All right. So what does this have to do with anything? All right. When I look at social media today, especially YouTube and TikTok, or TikTok, whatever you want to call that, and I see the back and forth with black men and black women. The men kind of remind me of the young Linda, whereas the women, they play the role of the parents in my imagination. All right. So I thought I would be able to just humiliate my parents in front of the whole world, and they would just bend to my will, and I would be able to continue the behavior that got me on punishment in the first place. Well, like I said, it didn't work. And likewise, men will not be able to humiliate black women into submitting to our program. Social media platforms and the admin of them, they really, really open up doors for black Americans. It helped us to be able to shape our own narrative in front of the world. We didn't have to rely on NBC, ABC, or even, the record recording labels to use their cronies to tell our story for us. It's YouTube especially, it gave real people a chance to discuss real issues. And as you know, our women, black women, more than any other group, are right here online. They utilize social media a lot more than other groups does. So it's basically a chance for us to be able to reach out and build together. And what's the first thing that black men do with the world watching? Our first chance at laying a foundation and being able to have our voices heard. You give us the mic. Got black women watching, waiting to hear what we got to say. We got the world watching. We're ready to tell our story. And what comes out of our mouth? These black women are some fat bitches. 60% of them are overweight, 60% of them obese, they ugly, they horrible single mamas, they rude, they nasty, ghetto, unclassy, drug dealer fuckers, they traitors. They wanted to live in poor ghetto. They wanted to live in these ghettos because they chose feminism and they kicked all the good fathers out of the house. Nobody want them. Then they went on Sally Jesse Raphael and Oprah and talked shit about us and won't let us leave. This is facts, data, and statistics that prove this. How the hell did that work out? What has gotten better since we showed our ass online and humiliated our women? Not just our women, mostly ourselves, and we did it for the world to see. And don't give me that it's correction bullshit. It's not working. And I'll tell you, I'll give you 3 reasons why it didn't work. First of all, like I said, it wasn't correction. It wasn't constructive criticism, because correction involves support, it involves concern, it involves compassion. And there's nothing at all compassionate about yelling out somebody's deficiency in front of a crowd, especially in front of the whole world to see. Every other group, everyone else seems to grasp the concept that, if you're not speaking in private, the polite thing to do is to pull someone to the side, and express your concern. Blasting our shit out over the airwaves is the same shit we get upset about, the handful of black women that might have went on TV and were used as cronies, I believe, in the denigration of black men. So how can we say we're any different than that when here we are doing the same thing? So, even if you do have legitimate complaints, are you trying to be effective? Like, do you really want to resolve the issues, or are you just trying to just be right, even if it humiliates the very women you're talking to? All right. And the second reason it hasn't worked. All right. You can't out pity women. You just will not be able to do it. That's what they talk about when they talk about matching energy. All right. So the males of our species, we're equipped with strength for defense. Females, on the other hand, they were adapted for, with persuasion, deception, and the ability to administer mental anguish as their defense mechanism. Okay, so I've seen the most demure women completely break down the most physically strong men. That's how good they are at administering that mental anguish when you mess with them. All right, so when you're out here going back and forth, you are sitting up there literally on their home turf, and here you are throwing shots. That's like a 3-year-old trying to square up with Mike Tyson. So don't be surprised when it doesn't end well. All right, we might, you hear women, yeah, okay, we might be ugly, but you the white man's bitch. We're single moms, but y'all the brokest, least married, cohabitated men in America. Y'all compete with us, but how come you don't compete with other men? And they'll bring up crime stats, they'll bring up education, they'll basically go full storm front on us. All right. I heard one, I can't even remember who it was, but somebody said black men are the laughing stock of civilization. I'm like, God damn, you just don't get that low, because they're equipped for it. They know how to hit where it hurts, even if it is hurt them to say it, even if they don't really believe, they can hit below the belt. But the one thing they will not do is come crawling back and saying, oh my goodness, please take me back. It's just not working. Okay, it's not working. The humiliation, trying to humiliate them, it does not work. All right. The third reason, and I think is one of the strongest points, is women hate. I mean, they hate when heterosexual men display feminine traits. There's not too many things that would repulse a woman more than a man being a bitch. I mean, you hear it all the time. That's pretty much the quickest way to turn a coochie cat from an oasis to the Sahara Desert, is if you just behave unmanly. It's like it turns on a switch in them. And that ruthlessness just goes on full display. And like I said, you really cannot out petty them. So just going tit for tat. You know what? They kicked us out of the house, so we gonna show them we ran twerking them, bitch. That's vindictive. You know what? That's vindictive, and that is spiteful, and those are feminine defense mechanisms. And like I said earlier, if you really want to bring out the hate in women, just be a heterosexual man, and you sit there and you display some feminine trait. All right. So, yeah, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Black women were humiliated with black men's featured presentation on social media titled "Black Bitches Ain't Shit." Okay. Humiliating your women only makes our women, it makes the community worse. It doesn't improve anything. No one can show me at all where it's helped at all. The origin of the breakdown of our community, it started with the actions or inaction of the men, period. Our women are a direct reflection of the community that we built. So it's our responsibility to build and maintain these communities. I proved that in my first video, and it can't be refuted. All this, they started it stuff, it's just childish. It's childish. It's pathetic, and honestly, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for black men to be doing this behavior. Okay, I wish a motherfucker would walk into my home and tell my wife, you know what? Here's some welfare, and we also have this feminism movement you can join. All you got to do is kick your husband out of the house. My wife will look at them like they got booty meat on their forehead. Because it's just that stupid, because I provide everything that's needed for my family. I provide, I protect, I love my family, I cherish my family, I kill you over my family. So, in conclusion, rather than doing what's required of you as a man, you rather get on that newsstand, humiliate your women, hoping she would crawl back to you while you continue to neglect your duty as a man. It didn't work for Little Linder. It won't work for black men. Sleeper Linder.